Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we'll discuss about the creative question. Creative question number 1, chapter 5, Islam and Moral Education, chapter 5, creative question number 1. So let us see how to solve the creative question. Creative question number 1, Mr. Shihab. Okay. Mr. Shihab Chaudhary physically assaulted. Shihab Chaudhary physically assaulted, manhandled, and mentally tortured Mr. Luqman in a bid to gain command over the society. So he wanted to be, Mr. Shihab Chaudhary wanted to be the leader of the society. So he wanted to command over the society. Some days later, Mr. Luqman got a golden opportunity. I don't know what is golden opportunity, but he got a chance to retaliate, to take the revenge. He got the chance to take the revenge, but he abstained from it. He didn't take the chance. He didn't assault him. Some days later, okay. Such generosity on the part of Mr. Luqman brought significant change in Mr. Shihab Chaudhary. So Mr. Shihab Chaudhary, he was surprised, he was charmed by the behavior of Mr. Luqman. He promised that he would never misbehave with anyone. Who? Mr. Shihab Chaudhary. Because Mr. Shihab Chaudhary tortured, assaulted physically, mentally. But Mr. Luqman didn't take any revenge. Seeing this behavior of Mr. Luqman, he promised himself that he would never why you can talk. Is it okay now? Oh, okay. Okay, done. So, Mr. Luqman, he behaved well. He behaved well, whereas Mr. Shihabuddin behaved very bad. So he manhandled and physically assaulted Mr. Luqman, and Mr. Luqman got the chance, but he didn't take the chance. Because of this nice and beautiful behavior, Mr. Shihabuddin changed his mind and he promised that he would never misbehave with anyone. He will develop fraternal bond. Fraternal means brotherhood. He also promised that he will make a brotherly behavior, behave brotherly behavior with everybody. And he further placed, again he placed, so three placed, again he placed to follow Quran and Sunnah in all dealings, in all behavior. He would follow Quran and Sunnah. Who? Mr. Shihabuddin. So he changed his mind because of the nice behavior of Mr. Luqman. Now see, every stem, we have to look at the stem. What does the stem give? Which message the stem gives us? The message is that not to take the revenge. So from our chapter 5 or from entire book, you have to skim and scan the book in your mind very quickly that with which topic is stem match. With Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, there is no story in the book that Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu got the chance to take the revenge and he forgave. We don't know. It is not there in our book because our prescribed book, this is the prescribed book. So we have to see here. Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, there is no story that Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu got a golden chance or any chance to take the revenge and he forgave. It is not there in our book. So it is found in the life of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What is that? That Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he got the chance. What the chance? Because the people of Quraysh, the Meccan people, ousted him, tortured him, and killed the Muslims. They ousted the Muslims from Mecca and they forced the Muslims to migrate to Medina. And after 8 years, staying there in Medina, he came back in 8th Hijri era to Mecca. And he got a victory, overwhelming victory. So after having this biggest victory, Prophet Muhammad Islam, did he take any revenge on the people of Mecca? What did he say? He said, what he said? He said, La tasriba alaykumul yawma. Tasrib means revenge. La means no. La tasriba alaykumul yawma. There is no revenge on you today. Idhabu, you go, wa antum at-tulaka. You are free. So Muhammad Islam didn't take any revenge on the people of Mecca. And they didn't torture not only Muhammad Islam, but also all the Muslims. And that was very serious crime. And they uprooted the Muslims, dropped them out from Mecca and forced them to go to Medina, leaving their houses, leaving their kids and relatives and everybody. So the is very much related to the generosity and forgiveness, general amnesty of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam after the victory of Makkah. So you have to mention all these stories about the victory of Makkah. So directly we can see what is there in C number and D number, because you know C number and D number always related to the stem. If there is no relation with C number and D number with the stem, then the question is faulty, answer also will be faulty. So let us see what is there in C number question. C number question is, the ideal of which important trait of Muhammad Sallallahu has been reflected in Mr. Luqman's conduct. What is that? Forgiveness. Ideal of which important character, which ideology of Muhammad Sallallahu reflected in Luqman's character, because Luqman forgave his counterpart, Mr. Shihab Chaudhry, because Shihab Chaudhry physically and mentally manhandled. So here the trait, which trait? Directly you have to answer. Directly you have to answer. The trait of forgiveness, or the ideal of forgiveness of Muhammad Islam is reflected or has been reflected in the character or the trait of Mr. Luqman. So this is your finding. For this finding, you will get 1 mark. Now you can write what is forgiveness or what is general amnesty. That part is related to that 1 mark. After writing what is forgiveness and what about the forgiveness of Muhammad Islam, then you have to explain a little more. Forgiveness, what forgiveness? Which forgiveness? Then you will have to explain the forgiveness of Muhammad Islam after his grand victory over Mecca. And he announced, proclaimed the general amnesty, general forgiveness for all. Not only he forgave all the people of Mecca, rather he forgave the worst person who killed his uncle Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Wahshi, and chew his liver and cut his ear and nose. That Wahshi, he was also forgiven by Prophet Muhammad Islam. Hinda, Muhammad Islam forgave Hinda also. Abu Sufyan, great enemy of Islam. And this Abu Sufyan was caught when Muhammad Islam and the soldiers, 10,000 soldiers, had their camping very close area from the Makkah. He forgave him also and gave him the respect. So these are the application from the book, also explanation of your for comprehension skill. This you can write for a comprehension skill, and directly quoting the story from this book is the application. So you got the knowledge, you got the comprehension, which is little bit more explanation about the knowledge. Then application of the book, the story of the general forgiveness or general amnesty, which is there in the book, is for application. So this is how we can answer by 3 segments and 3 parts, and for each and every part, you will get 1 mark. Can everybody hear me? Okay, so the ideal of which important trait? So what is the answer? The ideal of which important trait of Muhammad's Islam has been reflected? The ideal of general forgiveness or mass forgiveness or general amnesty has been reflected in the conduct of Mr. Luqman. Okay, then we will proceed one by one. Please remember, when you are writing in the exam, some boys and girls I saw that you directly write the same, sometimes you start from the beginning, sometimes you start from the middle. Don't do this. You cannot repeat the stem in C number and D number. It is totally prohibited. If you do so, then you cannot write your skill. And if you cannot write the skill, you cannot get the marks, because the marks depend on the skill. You have to show the skills. The skills of knowledge, comprehension, application, and higher order. So we got the answer of C number. Let us see D number. We're not talking about A number and B number, because A number and B number questions are very easy knowledge-based question. So they are not related to the stem also. It can be sometimes related to the stem, but it is not necessarily to be very connected with the stem. So let us see C number and D number. C number already we discussed, and D number, review. Review means oversee the changes in Mr. Shihab in the light of the Holy Prophet sermon during the farewell pilgrimage. Farewell pilgrimage. Sermon of the farewell pilgrimage. So you have to discuss the changes of Mr. Shihabuddin. So you have to scrutiny the farewell, the sermon of the farewell pilgrimage of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. What did he say there? And what changes came in Mr. Shihabuddin? He said, people listen to my words with close attention, for I do not know if I shall be here among you next year. Your life, your property are sacred to one another, just this day, place, and month are sacred. Here is the point. Here is the point. The point is your life and property. So, Mr. Shihabuddin, he could not understand that others' life and property, like he is assaulted physically. It was threatening to the life of Mr. Luqman, but Mr. Shihabuddin didn't care of that. So, in the sermon of the last pilgrimage, Prophet Muhammad said, your life and property. Everyone's life is holy and sacred. Unnecessarily, a person cannot be killed. Unnecessarily, a person cannot be assaulted. But Mr. Shihabuddin did it. So, the behavior of Mr. Shihabuddin violated the second article of the address of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which given in the last pilgrimage. So we can mark 2 number from page 201. 2 number is related to the behavior or the changes, because 2 number can influence the behavior of Mr. Shihabuddin. 3 number, remember, all must one day appear before Allah. 3 number also applicable, because Mr. Shihabuddin, he was repented. So he can take the lesson from 3 number article also. 3 number article says that, remember, all must one day appear before Allah. So he manhandled Mr. Luqman. And he has to keep this thing in his mind that one day he has to appear before Allah. And he has to answer, why did he assaulted Mr. Luqman? On that day, each one shall have to furnish account of his or her deed. So what Mr. Shihabuddin did, he has to give the accounts to the court of Allah. So 2 number and 3 number applicable regarding the behavior of Mr. Shihabuddin. 4 number, oh believers, behave gently with your wives. So there is nothing about wives. So 4 number, I believe that it is not applicable in case of Mr. Shihabuddin. 2 number, 3 number, mind it. 5 number, always got the, so what you have to do, actually, you have to memorize this sermon, full sermon. Then you can use this sermon for your C number and D number. If you do not memorize some part, that is why sometimes I made you, memorize something from your book so that you can apply them in C number and D number. If you do not memorize the sermon of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then you never ever can apply it in D number now. So please, all these things you should, some points are there which are very much important. You should memorize them. Like this sermon, you have to memorize them. 5 number, always guard the amanat of others. 5 numbers are also applicable because Mr. Shihabuddin didn't guard the amanat. What is the amanat here? Amanat is the respect and the honor of Mr. Luqman. Mr. Luqman, he was an honorable person in the society. He was also like a leader type person. Still, Mr. Shihabuddin, assaulted him. So he tarnished his image and he assaulted and disrespected him. So this kind of khianat of his respect. So 5 number is also applicable. So 2 number, 3 number, and 5 number we can apply in case of D number question of creative on. Can you hear me, boys and girls? You hear me? Please respond here. At least you can write the message that you hear me. So 2 number, 3 number, and 5 number from the sermon of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu fully applicable with the behavior that these articles could change the behavior of Mr. Shihabuddin. 5 number, not fully. Abstain from sinful acts. This also sinful act. He should not do it because this is sinful act and you should not exact riba. Exact riba means extract riba. Riba maybe they means you cannot take the riba. You cannot devour the riba. Riba is usury. Usury means interest. Interest. So this is not related because there is nothing of taking any interest from Mr. Luqman. So 5 number, first impression and second impression is accepted here and can be applied in case of Mr. Shihabuddin's behavioral change. 6 number, do not associate any partner with Allah. It is shirk. So here Mr. Shihabuddin did not commit any shirk, so it is not also applicable. Do not unjustly kill on another. This is the attempt to murder. Attempt to kill on another. So Mr. Shihabuddin should take lesson from 6 number also. 2, 3, 5, 6 can be applicable. So these are not easy thing. If you want to apply all these things, then you have to, of course, I said you have to memorize them. Otherwise, you cannot apply them. 7 number, remember all Muslims are equal. Irrespective of land, color, tribe, community. 7 number also violated because Mr. Shihabuddin, he thought that he was superior to Mr. Luqman. So he assaulted him, manhandled physically and mentally, tortured him, and he thought he was superior. So he violated 7 number article from the sermon of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, where he said that all Muslims are equal. Mr. Luqman is Muslim, Mr. Shihabuddin Muslim. Both of them are Muslim. But Mr. Shihabuddin, he thought that he was superior. He didn't think that Mr. Luqman is equal to him. So he violated 7 number article also. Right from this day, tribal superiority is obliterated. Tribal superiority, communal superiority is ousted and obliterated. And Mr. Shihabuddin can take lesson from here. So the only yardstick of superiority is taqwa. Only the measuring unit of the superiority is taqwa. It means Allah-fearing quality, sincerity. So if the person is taqwa, muttaqi, very honest, very believer, honest, righteous, then honor and respect for them all only. But Mr. Shihabuddin didn't think about that. He just used his muscle power and tortured Mr. Luqman. So he can take lesson from 7 number. And good deeds. Most excellent person is he who acquires them by means of noble deeds. The person who acquire or achieve the taqwa, and good deeds, amal saleh and taqwa, they are the most good person, they're the excellent person, mumtaz, great person. So 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 number. 2, 3, 5, and 7. These 4 can be applicable. 8 number, do not commit excess in matters of religion. There is nothing here in case of religion. So 8 number, first part is not accepted here. Many preceding nations became extinct for that. Preceding means earlier. Earlier, previous nations were destroyed because of the excess in religion. Excess means exaggeration in religion. So religion should be behavioral matter of religion, should be moderate. It should not be very extreme. It shouldn't be very, very easy. Not like that. It should be moderate. The best way is the middle way. So moderate. Religious matter should be moderate. So only so if a slave become a leader, here also he can use this 8 number. If a slave become a leader for his merit and competence, do not be disobedient to him. Rather, you pay allegiance to him. Here, Mr. Shihabuddin, he thought that Mr. Luqman was not comparable with him, and he didn't think that the yardstick of the honor and respect and leadership is taqwa and good deeds. So, and he didn't accept him to be equal to him. So he thought that Mr. is a person kind of like slave or a servant. So he manhandled him. So he can take lesson from 8 number also. 9 number, behave decently with both male and female slaves. Slavery is not there. So here in case of Mr. Shihabuddin, it is not applicable. Feed and raise them as you feed and raise yourself. If any of them commits any unpardonable crime, set him or her free. Okay, this is not applicable because Mr. Shihabuddin, he is not dealing with any slave, so it is not applicable. The last part of a 9 number, all Muslims are brother of one another. So in this case, Mr. Shihabuddin didn't consider Mr. Luqman as his brother. So he manhandled him and assaulted him. So he can take lesson from 9 number also. 10 number, let us see whether we can use 10 number or not. All superstitions and retaliations of the Jahiliyyah are now declared void. Superstition, there is nothing superstitions here. I leave behind Allah's words. And so he can take lesson here from the Quran and Sunnah, as he said that taraktu fikum amrayni, I left behind 2 things amongst you, Quran and Sunnah to Rasulihi, and the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if Shihabuddin could follow or take the advice of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or he could take the advice of the Quran, he could not behave in that way with Mr. Luqman. So in case of change of his behavior, he could take lesson from 10 number. 11 number, I have been the last of the prophets, and there will be no prophet or Rasul after me. So ana khatamun nabiyyin la nabiyya ba'di. So it is applicable in case of khatamun nabuwwat. Here in case of Mr. Shihabuddin and Luqman, 11 number is not applicable. 12 number, you who are present here today shall convey my message to those who are absent here. So this is also not applicable. This is for the Da'i people. The people, if there is a stem like that, the man or a woman is preaching Islam. So 12 number can be applicable in case of him. So we got 2 number, 3 number, and 5 number, 5 number, 7 number, 8 number, 9 number, 10 number. All these are applicable in case of Mr. Shihabuddin's behavior. So, from the point of view of the sermon of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you can review the changes of Mr. Shihabuddin. So, you have to mention all the points. Then you can use those points in case of, as I described, you can use those points in case of Mr. Shihabuddin's changes. That if, a hypothetical, that if Mr. Shihabuddin could take the lesson from article number 2 of the sermon of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, he could not behave like that, or he can change his behavior. So here, D number 4 parts, 4 parts. Knowledge, what is the knowledge? Review the changes in Mr. Shihabuddin in the light of the Holy Prophet's sermon during the farewell pilgrimage. So you have to write what is farewell pilgrimage, which is knowledge. You should know what is that. If you do not know what is the farewell, the sermon of farewell pilgrimage, if you do not know that, then whatever you write regarding the changes of Mr. Shihabuddin, that will be wrong. So first of all, you have to identify the main question. The main question is here, the sermon during the farewell pilgrimage of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You have to define it. You have to identify it. After the identification means what is that? When it happened? And who was involved there? So when it happened, 8th Hijri era. Who was involved there? Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. And what is the sermon about? This is the last sermon of the last pilgrimage of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is the clear idea about the last sermon of the last pilgrimage of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This knowledge. After writing this knowledge, then you will make a relation between these farewell pilgrimage and the changes of this kind of preamble, like preface. So you will give an introduction of this. Okay, you will give an introduction of the behavior, the changes of the behavior of Mr. Shihabuddin, and the sermon of Prophet Muhammad, which is given in the last pilgrimage. This will be your comprehension. Application is directly quoting from the book. So what you are going to quote? That I said already, I discussed 2 number, 3 number, 5 number, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it is not possible to quote all of them, but some of the quotes you have to write directly. And rest, you can write the gist only. Rest, gist means the summary of other articles. Okay, this will be your application. And what is higher order? Higher order is your judgment. Judgment is you will extract all the ideas which are very much related to the changes of the behavior of Mr. Shihabuddin. You will make a gist or the summary of all the points I discussed in 3-4 lines. And then you will add your own ideas and own judgment. Because application means collection. You collected the ideas, but it didn't work with that. So there will be it will be unproductive. So when you collected something, collecting from the books, from your materials, from your prescribed book, this kind of collection, after collecting this raw materials, then you have to make something. And that making something is your higher order. So what you can make here, you will give your judgment in the light and final conclusion. Higher order is the conclusion. So you will give your final verdict and the conclusion of the total things you discussed, right from your knowledge, comprehension, application. Then you have to give the final verdict and your conclusion, which is your higher order. That will be in 2-3 sentence highest. So this is how you can write C number and D number. Now let us see what is there in A number. A number, how many clauses are there in the Charter of Medina? I already said that A number is knowledge-based question, which is there directly in the book. So this figure, 47 clauses are there in the Charter of Medina. This 47 is mentioned in your book. Let us see, it should be there. It should be there. If it is not there in your book, then it is never ever knowledge-based question. So let us prove it. Charter of Medina. It is page number 199. 199, paragraph number 2, Charter of Medina, 5th line. You can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th line, in the second sentence, it is there. There are 47 clauses in this charter. This is correct or no? It is not correct. It is charter. So there are 47. This 44-7 knowledge-based question which will be found directly in the book. It is there in the book. So A number, don't worry, it is very easy, and if you read the book, you will get the answer, and you can easily answer the question. So we got A number answer, it is 47. How many clauses are there in the Charter of Medina? There are 47 clauses in the Charter of Medina. D number, why have the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam life ideals got to be followed? Life ideals. So what is the knowledge here? The knowledge is Holy Prophet. You have discussed about Holy Prophet. No, the question is not about Holy Prophet. The question is about life ideals. Life ideals means the biography of Prophet Muhammad. So you have to give a description of the biography of Muhammad. It is there in the book. It is there in the book. So somehow it is there. What is the biography of Muhammad? Let us see what they wrote about the biography. Yes, it is there clearly in the book. Model. The word is started in inverted comma. Model. So you will start from the model. Has the Arabic synonym uswa. Uswa, you have to mention uswa also. Signifies that what can be copied, animated, followed in such matters as mannerism, rules, and acceptable conduct, regulations, etc. So from here, this is actually the knowledge. So you can write from here. Then you will write why have the Holy Prophet's life ideals got to follow? Why should we follow the life of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? So you can use your own intelligence, or you can write from the book why we need to follow the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, ideals of Prophet Muhammad, because all the ideals of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are very much important. Allah said in Quran, you can apply, can do the application also in B number. Allah said in Quran, لو كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. If you want to love Allah, you should follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Kul atiu Allah wa atiu Rasul. You follow Allah and His Rasul. So one has to follow not only Allah, rather one has to follow the lifestyle or the ideology of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because this is the order of Allah. This is the order of it. This is how we have to explain why we should follow the ideology of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also Allah said, it is there in a book. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. There is a beautiful ideology in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Beautiful ideology. So why we have to follow the life ideals or the ideology of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because this is the order of Allah. And this is the advice of Allah also, to follow the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As he said, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. There are uswa hasana, beautiful ideals. The ideals of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are beautiful. Character of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is beautiful. His sunnahs are beautiful. His sunnahs are the kind of medicine for the ummah. So if we follow the lifestyle and ideology of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in our worldly life will be benefited, in life hereafter also will be benefited. And we can follow the orders of Allah, because Allah's order, it is Allah's order to follow the ideals of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So whether it is positive or negative, however it is, if we think that this is against my wish, the ideals of Muhammad, I don't want it, still it is good for you. And if you think that this is positive, if you understand, then it is. If you don't understand, then maybe it is negative. So whether it is positive to you or negative to you, you should follow the ideals of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ideals of Prophet Muhammad, you can write something more about the honesty, faithfulness, because ideals of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are about honesty, faithfulness, liberality means freedom, forbearance means tolerance, and self-control. Self-control means taqwa. Then benevolence, to be kind and sympathetic, charity, sympathy, tolerance, humanity, etc. Tenderness, loving, caring, etc. All these beautiful ideals are in the life of Muhammad. So if a person follow Muhammad, his ideals, his personal life will be beautiful. Our social life will be beautiful. And there will be beautiful social network and social bondage among the people. And ultimately, the peace and tranquility will prevail. I said so many things in B number. You cannot write so many things. Simply, you will write about the knowledge and about explanation of that knowledge in the light of Quran and Sunnah. And of course, you should follow your book in writing everything. This is your prescribed book. This is the prescription. You have to use this book in writing any answer of your question which will come. So I will give you a homework. Let us share the screen. Your homework, of course, number 1, solve the creative one as I described. Okay, so we'll do this. Number 2, memorize the sermon. memorize the sermon of the Farewell Hajj. So we'll solve, we already answered all the questions, and well, of course, you will memorize the sermon of the Farewell Hajj. Okay, I'm saving it, and also the same, this video and this homework I will upload in my YouTube channel. So if you want to listen, you can listen this lecture again in my YouTube channel. So thank you so much. Have a good day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.